Hi everyone, Mike here, and today I'm going to talk to you about doing a GTD style brain dump in drafts and then moving all of those tasks to OmniFocus with a single click. If you're watching this video, I'm going to assume that you don't need an in-depth explanation of the getting things done methodology, so I'll keep this brief. If you haven't read Getting Things Done by David Allen, I'll just say that it's a great introduction for people who are trying to be more productive in their lives. I would encourage you to check it out. Most people I know who have read the book have found it to be a good starting point for coming up with a system that works for them. One of the things from this book that I find the most helpful is the weekly review. Part of the weekly review process is to methodically go through all of the different areas in your life for which you're responsible for contributing and think about them in a meaningful, purposeful manner and try to remember and come up with and think about all the different action items that you have to do for that particular area of your life. The idea being this regular process prevents you from failing to do something you're responsible for and also giving you some time to think about what else you can be doing to advance that area of your life. Again, I highly encourage you to read the book to learn more about the weekly review and the other aspects of this methodology. All that being said, I really like drafts and OmniFocus for handling my weekly review. A key piece of structure to make your weekly review successful is a trigger list, which is just a series of prompts to get you thinking about all of the different areas of your responsibility. Without a trigger list, I find it really easy to focus on just a few aspects of my life, the ones that are most in my face at that moment, and often forget about other areas that are important but maybe don't have an immediate project or emergency going on. So I created an action in drafts called Brain Dump Prompts. The action is a simple one-step insert text action. I'll run it here so you can see a preview of my trigger list. You can see that it's just some markdown headers for every room in my home, as well as my wife's car and my car. There's a family section with headers for each of my family members, one for each of the different aspects of my job, and an area for different personal projects. Using the different level headers provides some additional structure to the document, but isn't necessary. The only other thing about this that is in any way programmatic is a variable in the action which inserts today's date at the top as the level 1 header. When it comes to filling in the prompts, I have this formatted as markdown headers without bullet points because I really like doing this process using the dictation feature in drafts. From any device, I can put my cursor under the appropriate header, turn on the Insert Text with Dictation feature in drafts, and start rattling off ideas that come to mind. I'll say a thought, followed by new line, and keep going until I've gotten everything out of my head. This process will result in each thought being on its own line under the appropriate header in drafts. When I'm doing this at home, I'll use my iPhone or iPad and literally walk from room to room throughout my home dictating things into drafts. Once I've gone through the whole trigger list and gotten everything out of my head, I can go back to my iMac and easily audit the list, double checking the dictation for accuracy, checking to see if I've already captured that thought or idea, that type of stuff. However, having these things in drafts is not super helpful. I'd much rather have this list in OmniFocus, where I can assign tags and defer dates and due dates and all the other things that OmniFocus is phenomenal at. Drafts being drafts and having the amazing community that it does, I knew that what I wanted to do was probably already out there, or at least the parts. So I started digging through the action directory and seeing what the other users had already contributed. Now I have an action called Move Brain Dump to OmniFocus, which converts everything in the draft to title case, moves all of the tasks, but not the headers, into OmniFocus, and then archives the draft. I just used it for the second time today, and it was so cool that I had to make a video showing you all about it. In the description below is a link to a blog post on my site. I will have screenshots of the action settings and drafts, and links to all of the action and forum posts where I got all of the different parts to assemble this action that fits exactly what I wanted. If you need to rewatch any part of this video, there are timestamps in the description below. I hope this video helped you, and if it did, please consider liking, sharing, or subscribing. There will always be more content like this coming.